Hi, today we're presenting analyzing Apple's effectiveness using Nadler-Tushman Congruence model. We're group number one. The group is conformed by Raul Ramila, Joshua, and myself, Antonio Navarro. So the index, what we're going to be presenting today, is going to be a brief summary of the organization, also with some key input factors influencing the organization, which is Apple, a key strategy of the organization that they use, alignment, congruence, organization's key components, outputs that are being achieved, and last but not least, recommendations. So first, we're gonna talk about Apple, a little of a summary of the organizations. So Apple is an American multinational technology company that their headquarters are in Cupertino, California. This company it was founded in 1976 by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. Apple designs, manufactures, and sells electronic devices such as the iPhone, iPad, iMac, Apple Watch, and they also offer digital services like iOS, Mac OS, iCloud, and Apple Pay. So overall, Apple is known for innovation, quality, and its strong global presence.
Okay, an external environment. We can see right here a puzzle that is respected to Apple. Apple operates in a volatile global landscape where geopolitical shifts and economic pressure are as influential as technology breakthroughs. So depending on what is the new technologies, the new market's gonna keep growing, and being more competitive over time. Okay, the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the political and legal aspect of the puzzle. Rising tensions between the US and China have transformed Apple's manufacturing strategy. Once a primary advantage, China is now a geopolitical liability, forcing a rapid China plus one expansion into India and Vietnam. Legally, Apple faces a complex maze of global regulations, particularly the UAE's Digital Markets Act, and increasing international scrutiny over data privacy and antitrust policies that recently impacted the company due to high scandals that were happening each year. Economic factors are, despite reaching a record of 416 billion in revenue in 2025, Apple still faces significant headwinds, high inflation, and fluctuating exchange rates that have impacted gross margins. While a 15% drop in Chinese market shares reflects rising competition from local brands like Huawei and Vivo, it is also to take into consideration the tariffs and their impact in the economy of the neighboring countries of China that still have a gross margin for tariffs. Social and environmental factors. Apple remains the world's most valuable brand, valued at up to $1.3 trillion. Its social strategy focuses on emotional connections, emphasizing inclusivity and accessibility to maintain deep loyalty among younger demographics. And environmentally, the company is aggressively pursuing Apple 2030, aiming for carbon neutrality across its entire supply chain through recycling materials and renewable energy as any other company that is in the world right now, because the carbon footprint is really bad. And last but not least important, the technological factor. The innovation remains the core driver for Apple right now, with 2025 marked by the heavy implementation of on-device AI, Apple Intelligence right now, that is really popular, and sorry, the maturation of 5G and AR kit. This focus on seamless, high-performance use experiences that ensures the ecosystem remains sticky for its 2.2 billion active devices, and it remains really easy to use for new customers, and also keeps the original factor of the Apple ecosystems, so the long-term users can really get to experience new things. Next, please. Okay. The history, culture, and resources. Organizational profile and culture. Well, since Apple it was founded in 1976, Apple has evolved from a niche computer market into a global digital ecosystem defined by unique organizational structure and massive financial reserves. The organizational culture, Apple uses a functional structure, meaning it's organized by expertise, design, engineering, and marketing, rather than product lines. This culture prioritizes use-centric design and data security. The workplace emphasizes in diversity and transparency, with leadership recently doubled down on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion as a strategic business advantage. And resources and assets, Apple holds a formidable financial profit with over 132 billion in cash reserves. Its greatest intangible asset is brand equity, which allows for premium prices even in down markets. Its physical resources include a shifting global supply chain and proprietary technologies like the M series silicon chips that are new developed by Apple themselves, which reduce dependency on third-party vendors like Intel or other brands that have a growing market right now. The key strategy, its integration and ecosystem. Apple's primary strategy for 2025 is deepening its vertical integration, controlling every aspect of the product from the silicon chip to the retail software, all in the stores. The ecosystem synergy by designing its own hardware and operating systems internally, Apple maximizes device functionality and customer retention. This is expandable by services segments like Apple Store, Apple Music, and iCloud, which surpassed 100 billion in annual revenue for the first time in 2025, providing a high margin, predictable income stream that offsets hardware sales cycles. Sorry. Strategic alignment. This strategy is highly aligned with social and technology factors as consumers value the seamless fluidity of the Apple's ecosystems. However, it faces friction with political factors. Vertically integration makes the supply chain more rigid and harder to move quickly out of conflict zones. Despite these geopolitical headwinds, Apple's strategy of using proprietary chips and high margin services continue to provide a significant competition moat. Next, please.
Alignment congruous organization's key components. First, we have the system alignment and strategy. Apple's performance is usually driven by strong internal alignment between structure, people, task, and their cultural values. The company has stayed true to its mission, enabling it to carry the innovation-driven business plan and keeping their position in the market as one of the leading brands in technology. Their core task and capabilities. Apple has innovated, bringing together multiple components such as in design, hardware, software, and the ecosystem development of all the things they sell. The workplace requires employees to do tasks in precise guidelines while also collaborating and learning about modern technology. They have a formal organization because Apple operates with a centralized functional model serving as an operational framework. They have both strengths and limitations. In the strength, we have that they have a strong hardware and software integration, and they are consistent with design and product quality. But on the limitations, we know we have that Apple has faced delayed decision processes and reduced speed of response because of their of how big they are. On the people who are on the company, well, the company maintains a team of experts who specialize in engineering, in design work, as well as supply chain management. The organization runs training programs for staff to build their skills and be at the top of the latest technology advancements. Having a high performance expectation enables innovation for the team creations and for their development technologies, but it can also create additional stress for employees because they always need to stay on the latest news and technology because they cannot be behind because they would be losing customers. And for the last one, we had that they are an informal organization and culture. One of their key values, one of their key culture values are the product secrecy, their excellence in quality, the pride in their craftsmanship, and the strong emotional attachment to the products they create. This cultural environment enables organizations to maintain their current structure, affecting how they appear to the common public. But the risk of this is that the combination of stress and burnout can be an obstacle working against maintaining sustainability culture practices in the long run. For example, we have seen that they need to change um, how they appear to public. Well, not how they appear to public, but how the public sees the brand. They need to keep refreshing themselves to always have a good view from the public. The external environment from the PESLE, we have that Apple has achieved its business targets through its ecosystem strategy, like including the strong financial resources they have, the investments they have, brand equity, and global supply chain. Some external challenges that they have faced are political risk with some countries, legal pressures with the same countries, and environmental regulations by placed by countries. These forces require that they come up with a strategy and adapt to maintain alignment and to maintain the quality they serve. Well, some key takeaways that we can see with all this information is that Apple's competitive advantage has come from a high organizational congruence. The organization needs to become more flexible because external forces and its current inflexibility can indicate that it should adapt more flexible operation for future success. The outputs that Apple has achieved, well, first, let's go from an overall of the outputs. Like, for example, the organization outputs emerge when tasks, people, structure, and culture function in harmony with each other. Their main outputs are visible in their financial performance and in their capability to innovate, the value of the brand, the employee outcomes, and the social and environmental impacts they create. On their financial performance, Apple has shown very good financial performance, and the key outcomes are that they have a high revenue generation, they are in industry leading profit margins, and have significant shareholder value. All these thanks to their global operation efficiency and their broad portfolio of products and services. Apple has continued to be a lead on the market. On their innovation and product development, they operate to achieve two separate business objectives through their business activities, like financial success and their continuous innovation. Some outputs include that they bring integrated hardware, software, and services. They are one of the most user-friendly technology brands out there. They have high-quality products, and they have a profitable innovation both in their ecosystem and in their workspace. The brand value. Brand's reputation stands as Apple's most important strategic output, which generates its highest value. Some key results are global brand value leadership and strong customer loyalty and emotional attachment. Thanks to this, they have strengths like being protective on their pricing power and how they have sustained long-term competitive advantage. And on the employee and cultural outcomes, Apple delivers high performance standards and a strong accountability and operational excellence. Their trade-offs are that are the combination of excessive work responsibility and insufficient direction leads to higher stress levels among employees. On their social and environmental outputs, the business activities of Apple generate social and environmental impacts which extend from their corporate base into the wider world. They have both positive, well, some of the positive outputs that they have is that they have public commitments of sustainability, they have a privacy protection initiatives, and they are responsible for the supply chain policies. But they have some concerns. There are some concerns from Apple, like a supply chain labor practice and product repairability issues that they are trying to work on. With all this, some key takeaways that we can see are that the company achieves three main strengths through their financial achievements, like their position in innovation leader on their market and their market leading brand position. And the system implementation requires organizations to make two essential compromises that can affect employee work duties and their ability to meet their social responsibilities.
And now I will explain our recommendations for Apple. So first, Apple should diversify its supply chain to reduce its dependence on China for manufacturing. Well, this meaning that a lot of pieces in order so they can actually like build the iPhones and all the devices. All those pieces come from China, so they pretty much they heavily depend on China in order so they can build the product. And what we suggest that they should reduce that dependence by buying those parts from other countries. Second, the company should continue strengthening their sustainability and their social responsibility, especially in the labor practices, just like their supply chain. And finally, for our third recommendation, that is market expansion, we believe that Apple should focus on this recommendation market expansion by increasing their presence in regions like India and Latin America. since these markets offer great opportunities for future growth. We know that Apple has like a very big influence on the United States and China. They're like their core markets, but there's plenty of opportunity in the regions that I just mentioned, India and Latin America, because we, the users, have pretty much admire the system of Apple, which is the iOS, and also there's a lot of competitors in Latin America. There's a lot of competitors like Samsung, and there's another company called Motorola, and all these other phones, kind of like phone brands and electronic devices brands that are taking a lot of clients from Apple. It may be because a lot of factors, like maybe Apple sells their product maybe too expensive, but a lot of external factors. If they could actually like increase their presence on Latin America and India, it will be a very good opportunity for Apple to kind of like be a better company globally and sell more of their products. Here we got our references that we use for the presentation. And thank you for your attention.
Goblin quote unquote.